When you feel like life has dealt you a hand of unfair cards, instead of voting, you double down and you stuck in the game. You faced battles, you felt broken, but hey, do us a favor, put your hand on your heart. You feel that? You're still here. Welcome to the Resilience Files Unlocked, where survival meets transformation.
Hey, I'm Angelica Washington.
Hi, I'm Carrie Bernunz.
I'm Jesse B. Evans, and you're listening to
The Resilience Files
Unlocked.
Trigger warning for our guests. This episode is focused on war. So we're talking about explosions, things that can involve mental health, physical health, war-related items. Please take care of yourself. We're here with you, but do what you need to do while you're listening.
And just as a disclaimer, we are not therapists, nor are we anyone that could diagnose anything. We are just here to share, listen, and have empathy for people's stories.
And today's guest on the podcast is my blood cousin, Andrew Brown. I'm so excited to have him on the show. He is an Army vet who experienced something that while he was enlisted that completely changed his life. We're going to get into that story, but our celebrity guest that's going to be reading his story today, you might have seen him on 911, Ruthless, what else? All American, my boy, Colin McCullough.
I still remember the day before I shipped out, thinking enlisting in the Army at 18 was going to be this wild adventure. I'd heard about the job, sure, but I was young and figured, how bad could it really be? Turns out it was both everything I expected and nothing like I imagined, all at once. I learned a hell of a lot at some of the best times of my life, but it was also serious business, life or death in ways nobody can really prepare you for. Looking back, I guess it shaped me into who I am, for better and for worse. When I found that I was deploying, I was half terrified and half excited, like a weird mix of dread in my stomach and a rush of adrenaline in my veins. I told myself, this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, and in some ways it was. The country itself, what I got to see of it, was breathtaking. Rugged hills, dusty roads, and these sprawling sunsets that painted the sky like a watercolor. Despite the war raging around us, I caught glimpses of beauty that reminded me life can still shine in the darkest places. Then came the day everything changed. The day I got hurt. We were on a routine mission, patrolling this rural area, nothing we hadn't done a dozen times before. We were walking in on a single file line. Just about to leave the spot we've been told to secure. I was at the back of the line, mostly scanning the sides, checking rooftops and corners. It was one of those moments where everything seems quiet. Too quiet, maybe. And then suddenly, it's all chaos. I glanced left and spotted this small, two-story rectangular building. Brown walls, flat roof. There were two men. One on top in a white parka, one on the ground in red. In the split second it took me to register them, I turned my head forward, and the world exploded. I was swallowed by this massive brown cloud, like a dusty storm slapped right into my face. My ears started ringing so loud, it felt like my skull was vibrating. I panicked and screamed, not even words, just raw terror ripping out of my throat because I couldn't see or feel anything. It was like my body went numb, and for a second I thought, am I even alive? Then, through the fog in my head, I heard somebody yelling, "Get down, get down." I guess I was still standing, so I threw myself onto the ground as hard as I could. Every fiber of me wanted to crawl away, but I didn't know where I was crawling to. The dust was too thick and my heart was slamming in my chest. I just kept screaming, "Get me the fuck out of here," over and over. Next thing I knew, hands grabbed me, dragging me over the rough ground. I heard the crunch of gravel under my back and the rattling metal of a truck's floorboards. One of my buddies, still can't figure out which one, shouted over the engine noise, "You're gonna be all right, Brown, just gonna be a little bit more ugly." And even though I was scared out of my mind and in who knows how much pain, that stupid joke told me I was still here. I was alive. Something about the crack in his voice and the humor in his words made me believe that maybe I was really gonna be okay. After that, my mind was messed up for a long time. I went through this angry phase where I felt like nobody could understand what I'd seen or how it had ripped apart my sense of safety. Smallest things set me off, loud noises, sudden movements, sometimes just being in a crowd. My emotions were scattered. One minute I was furious, the next I was shutting down altogether, and I told myself, this is just how I'm supposed to be now. Like I had no choice but to stay in that dark place. Eventually, though, I realized I wanted a different life. Being bitter and hurt wasn't doing me any favors, and it definitely wasn't honoring the part of me that made it out alive. So I started therapy. It was awkward at first, talking about stuff I wasn't sure I wanted to remember, but little by little, it helped. I also cut off toxic relationships that kept dragging me backward, and I replaced them with healthier habits like working out, reading, learning new skills that gave me a sense of purpose again. I won't lie, I still have rough days, but I'm not the same person I was before I got on that plane to deploy, and I'm okay with that. I found a way to carry the scars, both physical and mental, like a badge that reminds me I've survived something huge. I guess that's what resilience is all about. Figuring out how to keep going even when you're carrying more weight than you ever thought you'd have to bear. And if my story can show anybody else that it's possible to break through the fog, maybe it's worth all the dust and rain years in the end.
Wow. Oh my God. My whole heart goes out to you, Andrew.
It does.
And
Thank
all
you.
the soldiers.
That was great,
and
Colin.
people.
You did a great reading of that, man. That was amazing.
Beautifully written.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Colin, for reading that. You're so awesome. Thank you. Our celebrity guest, Colin
you.
McCalla, everyone. Thank you.
Andrew, we're gonna ask you some questions. We're gonna get into it.
Can I just
I'd also like to just say thank you so much for your service.
Yes.
Before we start, my dad is a veteran as well. He was in the Army as well.
Same.
And I've just only heard stories. So thank you so much just in general for your service and your bravery. And I'm so sorry for what you went through. I know we're about to dive into it, but I just wanted to say that to you and to anyone who serves this country. I mean, couldn't be me. So thank you so much.
We appreciate no, honestly, we appreciate your courage. And you guys are on the front lines and all of our veterans. I'm voting for your rights. You guys deserve homes, houses, goods,
Everything.
free stuff,
All
money,
the things.
milk, and
All the things.
It's that we can't even. I don't want to get into that. It's a whole different podcast. I will get on my soapbox on how I feel about that.
Right.
Yeah, you guys deserve all the things.
All of
so
it.
sad, guys. I just want to cry after hearing that.
Okay.
Don't.
We're going to get into it right now.
Andrew, I hope you've gotten a lot of hugs and a lot of kisses and a lot of thank yous.
Yeah. I developed got a strong support system here that keeps me grounded. You know what I mean? So,
Ooh.
definitely keeps me where I need to be at.
So happy to hear that. Well, go ahead.
My
Def.
first question is, how are you like today, right now, in this moment? Like, scale of 1 to 10.
Today, feel amazing. I'm glad that, hopefully my story will inspire somebody, you know what I mean? I like what you guys are doing to inspire people to, help with the traumas and, help with the triggers and encourage people that there's hope and, there's ways to get out of situations. You don't have to be stuck anywhere. So, I mean, right now I'm feeling really proud to, be a part of this and, everything else is, I'm personally good. Everything's working fine, just,
Good.
taking it
see
one day
you.
at a time,
Yeah, I see you're doing a lot better. I remember when you showed up at my doorstep in California one day. Mind you, he lives in Maryland, so that's about 3,000 miles away. He lives in my hometown. And so imagine my surprise when he just popped up at my doorstep in Los Angeles one day. But we're going to get into that later on. Before we
said open door policy. You said
Right.
someone could rub on it.
I was just in the
That's what you
neighborhood.
said.
No, for real, right? I'm just gonna drop by. Before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about like before you joined the Army, like what led you to do it? What were your hopes? What were your fears? What were you hoping to get out of it?
I mean, like leading up to it, I mean, as far as I can remember, it was mostly just like, feeling like, just finding a sense of purpose or just finding something that, I was finding, 'cause at the time I was just, 18 partying, things of that nature. I really didn't do that well in school. I graduated and everything like that, but I just didn't feel like I was a school person at the time. So I didn't want to waste time. You know what I mean? I didn't want to like just feel like, boom, your 20s is done. You haven't done anything. So I was like, if you want to dedicate yourself to something, dedicate yourself to 4 years or something. Doesn't, mine just so happened to be the military, but my mindset was like, let me just dedicate myself to something. And then, hopefully something good will come out of it and some discipline or something like that. But, it was just, like I said, 18, making wild decisions and well, not wild decisions, but like I said, it was just something that was just like, something's good got to come out of this.
Yeah. I love that. I love what you just said, actually. I think that is so important. I think so many people get out of school at 18 and they don't know what to do. And sometimes they don't want to go to college. Although I'm with my girl Angie here, I'm not sure if I probably would never join the military unless like I had a choice of death and military. I choose military. But I do think like the military has so many different branches and so many different positions that it is an opportunity. So if somebody's listening today, we don't want to discourage you from not doing it. Although we have our guy here, Andrew, that will tell you if it's right or wrong. But it's not a bad decision. I mean, we've known so many people that did go through that course. Mm-hmm. So you didn't know what you wanted to do. Did you know that you wanted to do the Army, or did you think Marines?
I took a test, like the test of, I think it was called the ASVAB or something like that. And
y'all remember that?
And then I tried different, you know what I mean? And, see what I was qualified for. And it just happened to land there. And then it was just, the job that I had was like a super technical job, like dealing with computers and trying like calculations and things like that. But so I thought it was cool at the time. I guess like couldn't be too bad. I'm gonna be behind a computer. You know what I mean? They're gonna be like, well, do anything wild, but yeah. I mean, it was just like took the test, sounds something I thought would be interesting, and then try to go for it.
Did you get some good things out of the military? Like, did you get like discipline?
Yeah. I mean, I got like a strong brotherhood. The guys that I went with, and spent some time with and stuff like that. I got a lot of skills that transferred. I mean, outside of the military, a lot of benefits. Like life. Like I could go to school for free. You know what I mean? If I want to further education, I'm doing that a little bit now, but, just like those type of benefits, healthcare, you know what I mean? Education, healthcare, type of stuff like that. But, stuff that should be free anyway, but, that's neither here nor there, but, just stuff like that.
And Andrew, what was your experience like throughout the military leading up to this experience? Like, did you enjoy it prior? Like, enjoy is a crazy word, but like, what was your experience? I know some people who they make so many friends and they're like, oh, this is kind of great, and then some people like really hate it. So
for sure. It's like, it works out for some people, and for some people it doesn't work out for them. You know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of like a thing that you kind of good at or kind of, like to do, or you kind of don't like to do. When I was in, and I had my close group of friends, and we kind of like went through it together, the experiences together, and the schooling and like the training and stuff like that. We kind of, so it was good to have like that kind of battle buddy system that we had going on. And leading up to it, it was kind of like a job, like a 9-to-5 job. You wake up, do whatever assignments they want you to do, get lunch, work till 5, and then go home type of deal. Like when I was in Texas at the time. So when I was living in Texas in the military, that's what I would do, just like a workout, do like a work on a truck or whatever. So it was just like a job leading up till then. And then, you go over there and do the whole experience, and come back and do the job again. So it was kind of like.
Where in Texas?
Excuse me?
Sorry, where in Texas were you?
El Paso, Texas.
Okay, my dad was in El Paso. My dad also served in the military. Oh, wow. Yeah, so.
It's a nice area, yeah.
You mentioned that from the parts. Well, first, where were you overseas?
Afghanistan.
Okay, you mentioned that there were parts of Afghanistan, from what you could see, that were beautiful. Was there like a moment that really like shifted your perspective on like what you expected to see over there and like what you actually saw when you got over there?
And Jesse, do you mind can you tell us, you leading up to Afghanistan, because you say you were working technical behind the desk. So what even made you go over there? And then maybe tell us more about that, because I think that would help a lot of our listeners today.
Okay, yeah. How that works is like even though my job was technical, if that technical job isn't needed over there in Afghanistan, they'll just be like, okay, well, since we don't need your job, we'll just train you to do like foot soldier stuff things, you know what I'm saying? And then like we'll just send you over there anyway type of deal. So for me specifically, they didn't need my job. So they trained me to, do the boots on the ground type stuff and then go over there and, be a part of that team. So, really, it was just like if they needed me, if somebody needed to be switched out, I was available to that job. But like just because they didn't need that position to be filled, I just did like what everybody else did, basically.
Wow. So you pulling it's double duty. It's
Yeah,
like, I did not know. That's a good question. That was a good question. Because I did not know that.
Yeah, because you telling me just because you hired me for the cashier at the store, now the plumber quit and the cashier has been outdated because y'all got self-checkout.
Exactly. That's what it
So
sounds
now
like.
I'm trained to be the cashier and the plumber.
Right.
I got to be the plumber now.
Like, this is not what I came here for.
Comes out, I ain't gonna lie. They called me if I was working behind the desk, and now they telling me I gotta be boots on the field and I gotta see a person and hold a gun.
I need to talk to the supervisor. What
I'm curious also, what were you doing behind the desk? Was it like secretarial? Was it? I actually didn't know there were parts in the military that were behind the desk.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like what I mean by that is it was like, it wasn't necessarily, I mean, I guess I might have misspoke. It wasn't so much necessarily behind the desk. Like I carried around like a big laptop, like out, like we'd be in the truck and I would get out, open this big laptop up, open this program, and then like it would tell like these cannons like which angles and which directions and what to use to get down there.
Oh, that sounds like math.
Bro, you never told me that. What?
Wow, that's actually kind of cool. It sounds like a video game.
It sounds like an action movie.
It was a lot of math. It was like kind of like a really old school like green grid type of thing. You know what I
So
mean?
you're telling me your ASVAB results were really good?
It was like that. I ain't gonna lie.
So when we're watching movies, particularly military movies, and they have the laptops and they're typing and we see all the lines and they're like, it needs to be at 800.3 longitude, latitude, whatever. Like that's the kind of stuff that you're looking at?
Yeah.
Wow. Hold up. Were you doing this stuff in the U.S. or they said you have to go overseas and do this stuff too?
Well, like I said, it didn't need me over there to do that. So I just did it basically here. And then like I said,
So initially they didn't.
And then they said, suit up.
But then they said a robot's going to take over your job and we need you bootstrapped on in the field in Afghanistan.
Yeah. So basically, yeah.
Oh, wow. What was you thinking the day they called you and said, hey, soldier, you got a new order. You're going to Afghanistan. Pack your bags, let your parents know, or you probably couldn't even tell your parents. I don't know. Like, what was that?
It was basically like you get like a piece of paper telling you where you're going to go and you just be like, all right, well,
Any orders?
Yeah, like however many months or weeks or whatever to get ready and get your affairs in order. You know what I mean?
Bro, I have to say once again, thank you for your service. Cause that sounds like the Hunger Games to me. I would get my paper. I'd be like, Canada, here I come.
So what was going through your mind, like on your last day in the States, like as you went to the airport with, I'm assuming, all the other members of the Army, and you're all about to fly out for war? Like, what is going through your mind?
Just kind of just expect the unexpected type of things. You just don't know, because they would, I guess it's like I did a little bit after. So I guess it's like just preparing for something new, just knowing there's going to be something new, just knowing it's going to be something you never, you know what I mean, is going to experience. So, I mean, but I've been on my first helicopter, you know what I'm saying? Like over there, I was, I didn't think I'd be on a helicopter. So I was like, oh, that's a crazy experience too. But
were you scared?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it'd be, I was trying not to be like, this is, whatever. But I was just like, nah, this is going to be terrifying some point in time of fashion. But I was like,
Time's out.
Brave.
Was this 2011?
Yeah, I think it's like 2011, 12.
Wow, you were in the thick
I graduated
of it.
in 2010 and like went right after, like, so maybe like 2011. It was right around Jesse's birthday. It's like November something. Because I remember texting, I was like, yeah, I'm about to head out. He's like, man, you about to leave right on my birthday? I was like, yeah, I think it's right before his birthday.
Wow.
But
That's
I would
just
like
like
to
me.
also point out, like, I know you graduated high school, but to me, that's still a child. Like, that's still so young. Like, you can't even have a drink, but you're about to head into war. You can't
That's
even buy beer
crazy.
after shit blows up.
But
Like,
actually,
that's
no,
crazy.
overseas, you can drink at 18.
Well, but I mean, in this country, right? So, like, I've always been baffled about that. You can sacrifice your life for war, but you can't buy a beer in this
I
country.
mean, well, I
That's a fact.
also want to point out like how brave you were. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you were scared, but you did it anyway. You know,
Ooh, that
I
way.
think what is it? Game of Thrones that I saw,
Yeah.
where it's like, you know, when a man is scared, that's the only time he can be brave.
Wow.
Like, bro, that takes bravery. And I question if I would be able to sit. I would be, bro. I can't even. I would be off my rocker. I would be so nervous, legs shaking. Like, give me some type of anti anxiety medication or
No,
something.
they were.
Like,
I mean, he can. I'm sure our guest Andrew could talk about it. I know a lot of soldiers that do a lot of anxiety medication while they're at war, and even, of course, beyond that for PTSD. I want to go back to Jesse's question though.
yeah.
With when you got to Afghanistan, you were talking about the beauty of Afghanistan, but in the midst, we were also dealing with war. Can you just walk us down that journey?
yeah, is there a moment that like
Yeah, I
shifted your
guess like
perspective?
the experience that kind of sticks out the most to me when I think about it is I guess they have like seasons where they don't really fight because the winter's that bad. So it was like a fighting season and non-fighting season. And then when I first initially went
Hold
down
up.
there, it was like,
Wait.
yes.
You telling me when it's hot, we go fight, but when it's cold, we stay in?
Oh, that's what they do. I mean, like that they have like that's like their
I
whole little
support it.
Afghanistan.
America said we ain't got no seasons. We fighting all the time.
I support it. It's too cold. It sounds like.
It's a lot of hills and the winter's crazy. So
Ooh.
Wait, is Afghanistan ran by black women? It's too cold to be fighting.
Okay, sorry. Continue.
Yes.
no,
Thank
you're
you.
good, you're good. And so I guess I remember it being snow, and the reason I bring it up because I remember it distinctively being snowing, and it was me and another guy in this little like kind of bunker cave type of thing. We had like this little fire pit, and we just had to sit out there for like 12 hours to like just watch in case something happens or whatever. And we found out that we talked to like one of the translators, and they found out that one of the words for weed was hashish. And so we was like just sitting there, and like the sun had came up, and there was a guy that was just like kind of walking like near where we was at, and he came up there like just like like a real friendly manner, and he was just like he was like, yo, hashish, we just kept saying hashish, and the guy was like, yeah, and he just turned around and walked away, and it was like, man, that's bullshit. He probably just what I'm saying, just thinking we bullshitting. So the guy came back with like this little rock or whatever, and he like put it on the stick, right? And so he was like, fuck it, we're gonna invite him into the bunker. Craziest shit ever. I don't know why the fuck we even like invite this random motherfucker into the bunker. So he invited him in. He had this little stick. He like lit it on fire, and it was like smelled like fucking weed. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, this country's beautiful just like us. You know what I'm saying? And then he like held it over his hand and like cuffed it, and it was like a little smoking like smelled like weed. And so he hit it and like pressed it to my friend, and he did it too. And I was like, fuck that shit. I do not know what the fuck this motherfucker just picked up.
Good on you. I was about to cuss you out if you was about to say
I was
you
like,
smoked
fuck that shit. But anyway,
I thought it was crack too.
Was the person who smoked it okay?
so long story short, the guy, we're not talking to the guy, but he's just like doing gestures, like friendly gestures, and we give him like a Pop-Tart or whatever. And so he just leaves, and then we just see him walking away. And me and the guy was talking, like, damn, like, not everybody's bad. You know what I mean? Like, not everybody's a horrible person over here. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to make it seem like everybody's just like totally horrible. And then like, of course, it was like the mountains and like the sunset and like beautiful shit like that. But like, just experiencing it, like having an interaction with another person, to me, kind of like made it seem like, even though it was like, don't ever talk to these people ever again.
Yeah, I love that because the reality is that war every country has good and bad. And it's really sad that the small percentage of the bad usually in the country can outweigh the good of the whole country. And we've seen that recently, with the war of like Israel and Gaza and everything else. So thank you for sharing that pure, genuine moment with us.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting me know that you can smoke hashish out of a rock pipe. Didn't know a rock pipe existed.
So take us to the moments before the explosion. Can you explain the significance of the two men on the rooftop? Were they
I don't know, man. That's just
enemy
like I remember. Like
soldiers?
that's just because that's the last thing I seen. That's just what I don't know. Because like what happened. I mean, like at the time, like I said, it was in the back and then like a little single line. So it was. I think it was out there for like a really long time. And I just looked to the left and I just distinctly seeing like a guy on top of a building, a guy standing in front of it, and then turned back and then boom. You know, I guess it's because that's the last image and it was like color and like super vivid. The brown building and the red and the white and stuff like that. I mean, that's only when I try to think about it, like why that image stick out so much. Like, you know, that's what I could come up with because like it was.
Were they Americans? Or
No, they were like the Afghani people. You know what I'm saying? They were dressed up and down, like head to toe, in like complete robes. So I remember that all white robe and it was an all red robe. You know what I'm saying? So like that's why like sticks out. But that's like just the last thing I remember seeing.
And you said a really long time. How long is a really long time to be out there?
Okay, so I guess to go in a little bit more detail about that, like I got out there at like 2:00 in the morning to that little station, and then I remember the sun being up when we was leaving, so it had to be like either 8:00 in the morning, 9:00 in the morning, because the sun gets up like around 8, 9. It was like pretty high in the sky. So it was like, but still morning time, you know what I mean? But so it was like, we got out there at night and then like the sun came out. So just being outside, kneeling in the dirt, you know what I mean? For hours on hours on hours on hours on hours, you know what I'm saying? And then walking back. So that's why I remember it being like that long.
When the explosion happened, do you remember like what was going through your mind? Like, was it confusion? Did you think
like basically everything, you know what I mean? Just like not knowing if I was there or not, you know what I'm saying? Like, like just being like, oh shit, like, cause like, I swear to God, like you just never think stuff like that could happen to you. Like, you know, so you see it on TV, hear about it in the news all the time, and then something traumatic happens, like, oh shit, something traumatic is happening to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is really going on. You know what I'm saying? This is, so like, it's, I guess at the time I was just like, what the hell, you know what I mean? Like, and trying to gradually get it back, after like, being in shock, I guess.
I was just going to say that you had said in your essay that after the blast that one of your friends or colleagues had like kind of jokingly reassured you that like, you're still here, how big of a part was humor in that moment? And did humor also play a part of your experience, like growing and evolving and healing after this explosion?
Yeah, it would. I wouldn't say it because it stuck to me, after you said that, you know what I mean? Like it kind of like resonated with me, like, you know what I mean? It can't be that bad or he wouldn't have made a joke. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be like super, horrible if he's like, you know what I mean? Like he's going to say that. So like, and I guess like that kind of stuck with me, like, cause I had, I guess he said that because I had like shrapnel all up and down my face. So like my face was super duper scarred up. You know what I mean? And I had like, I got some in my eyes. So I had like, my eye was like real, looking really nasty. But I guess he said I was only getting uglier because I had freckles. So like the freckles and stuff, he was like, it would just blend in. You know what I'm saying? It would just be like black marks with your freckles, so they don't even worry about it. But yeah, he was just telling me like, you'll be all right. So, but I was like all scarred up on the face. So that was probably why.
And do you know how close you were to the explosion? I know you were in it.
Here's what they said. They said was they put it under a little brown little like dam little bridge, like because they had like a little I don't want to say this the water system, it's like they put it in the ground, they like dig a little trench and put like a little metal inside of it, and they built like a little brown little bridge to go over top of it. You could just step over it, but you could just like a little bridge. So apparently they said that they built a little bridge and like put a little explosive underneath of it. And I remember, I think I said I was walking a single file line. It's kind of crazy that I remember that, but it was walking a single file line, and I remember that nobody foot touched the bridge. Like everybody just stepped over the little, little opening or whatever where the water goes through. And that's crazy because I was thinking about it, but nobody stepped on it. And I remember like stepping on that little brown thing and then looking left, and I came back and I guess like stepped off of it. and that's probably why I came up. But they said I stepped on that, and then it just came up from underneath of me. And because I weighed so much, it didn't take me off my feet, so I was just like still standing and stuff like that. So that's what they said. Because like I don't remember. I just remember seeing the guy and then going straight, and they said it came from my feet.
So you stepped on the bomb?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, he stepped on the part that activated the bomb. Because if you stepped on the bomb, he would have flew up, but it was underneath it. Yeah. That's wow.
The bomb was buried, and you stepped on the thing that
activated. Wow. Well, thank God you're here. Yeah.
I know you're for sure. Like it was.
You have so much purpose.
You know, it's crazy. I didn't know. I've never heard like the story in depth. I've never asked. And the only thing that I know is that I remember getting a call saying, Andrew got blown up. Andrew got blown up.
Oh my God.
And I was like, what? Yeah. So I never, right. I mean, you know, our family. So yeah, I did not know that you actually like stepped on the bomb. Like that is.
Can we talk about the superhero moment here? You stepped on the thing that activated the bomb that was underneath you, and you were still standing.
You still alive to tell the tale.
You're a superhero.
I'm a big bag. You said I weigh too much.
You know what?
This is why sometimes it's important to be a big back, okay?
Okay.
It can save your life.
Exactly. Eat your food now, honey. Wow.
So wait, after it happened and you were on the ground for a moment, right?
Yeah. So it happened.
Were you thinking anything while you were on the ground? Because I remember what I was thinking when I was on the ground, when I almost died. I was like, I'm going to die in Koreatown. This is so cliche. Like, I'm so unserious. Like, I was like, this is so cliche. I cannot die in Koreatown.
And that's why you didn't.
That's why I did. I was like, I cannot do that. Was anything going through your mind?
I mean, like, for me, mostly it was just like, after they were yelling and stuff like that, it's like, get down and like crawl and stuff like that. So get down. I guess like they was waiting for like something else to happen. Like apparently it was supposed to be like an ambush or something like that. And they told me just get down. So I was just like, please, like don't fucking another one go off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I was like, so I would just, I don't know. Like for me, it was just like, I couldn't gather myself back. So I was just like, please don't let something else happen because, I'm in shock. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I still couldn't see anything. So I was just like, please just, and, in my mind, I was like, don't let nothing else go on.
Yeah.
Now, what was the rest of your experience like in Afghanistan? That moment already seems so traumatizing that it again is just a test to how brave you are that you were able to stay. Because I'd have been on that first flight back. Like we gonna have to do something else.
I was out of there like that. I was like, get me out of here right now. Like I don't want to be here anymore.
Oh yeah, did they let you out?
Yeah, no, I didn't get out of the army, but like I guess like after I came back from Afghanistan, I had like a real big issue with the army. I felt like super betrayed by them because like I had like I got all these injuries and stuff like that, and then like I had all these scars, and I had to walk with like a crutch, and like I was like doing a lot of recovering physically, emotionally, because I was like. Because after it happens, I'm like, all right, shit. Now you're just in the bed in the hospital, like, all right, now what the fuck is my life going to be? Because I didn't know like how I was going to recover. I still had an eye patch. I was like, just all over the place. I guess they gave me the option. I guess I can answer the question. They gave me the option to get out. I was in this place in Virginia, and I had an eye patch over I was taking a lot of medication. I was taking steroids. I had like these 2 big lumps in my neck. And like a big lump on my chest from like, I guess where like the stuff inside the bomb like went inside my body and it had like scarred over. So I was taking steroid shots like twice a day. I had to walk to this place to get steroid shots in my neck and in my chest like twice a day for like months. Just so that they could say so the swelling will go down because it was like humongous. You know what I mean, like really like atrocious looking.
Why did you feel betrayed?
Well, yeah, so I felt betrayed because when they offered me to get out, I would have got out with nothing. I had
Oh, heck no.
Yeah, I was married at the time, and then so I was in the hospital in somewhere in Maryland, and so I had my wife and my son, my wife at the time and my son drive down to where I was at in Virginia, and she was like, "I'm gonna just stay here with you." So I had her and my youngest son. I only had one son at the time. Excuse me. So it was like, okay, you want to get out? You can get out right now. And all I had was her car, my son, no money. I didn't know where to go, no house, no nothing. So I was just like, I get blown up, go to this hospital. Like, all right, we could just leave. You could get out now. We could sign you out. And I was like, I was thinking to myself, I was like, damn, like I know I just wasn't mentally capable to be like prepared to like take care of all that responsibility with an eye patch fucked up. So I was like, you know what, like if I stay in, I'll still have my money and still be like make something go on. You know what I'm saying? They'll still pay me, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Because I was thinking like long term, like I'm gonna be fucked if they just put me out on the street like with an eye patch, wearing crutches, with nothing. That's because like, I didn't want to go in there to be a homeless veteran. You know what I'm saying?
I have several questions. My first one is, can you tell us?
I felt super betrayed by them, so I was angry for a long time. And
Can we just say?
Got out. Yeah, let me get out. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Can we just say, you know what? Just the last 90 seconds. Not if anything in this interview didn't make you want to say thank you to a veteran or thank you to anybody that served. Hear this man out, okay? When you see a homeless veteran on the streets that's asking for money, just give him $1, give him $5, okay, $20. Take him to get something to eat and say, you know what? I love you. I appreciate you. Because hell to the no. But okay, go ahead, Jesse, with your questions.
Well, before I ask a couple of questions, can you tell us about the special guest that came to your hospital room?
Ooh.
Oh yeah. I was in the hospital in, I want to say Alexandria, Virginia. I think it was in Virginia or somewhere, but another.
Yeah, Alexandria, Virginia. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I guess I had Barack Obama come to my room when I was in the hospital.
Barack, is that you?
Mr. Barack Obama?
He shook my hand, gave me like a coin, met my family, like
of
gave me
course.
some
My auntie, his mom,
44th
my auntie
president of the
was,
United States?
she said, I got to meet my
yeah. See, it was.
You better watch out for Michelle or Angie.
That really shows that the experience that you went through was that serious, because the only time presidents visit veterans is usually if it was serious, like it had to be very, very serious. And so that's incredible in a horrible way, but I'm glad that you're there, and I'm glad Barack Obama did come and visit you. I would like to also shout out really quickly, or not shout out, more of an ask, but my dad is a veteran, and just for clarity, I know that he's obviously much older. So my dad's in his 70s. So it's a little different, but I know that the VA, Veterans Affairs, has helped a lot. I know that veterans still need way more support. And so just hearing your story really irked me, because it reminds me of the stories my dad would tell me about when he was in war. And when people would come back and how they just didn't have the support. They didn't have the support from the government, they didn't have support from people, and all types of things. So I do know that VA does have different resources that they can offer people. It sounds like they did not have enough for you, which is very disappointing, but happens often. So I just wanted to hit a little bit on that.
There's so many lawsuits right now. Actually, back in the year you went to Afghanistan, and from 2011 to 2014, people that served that did get honorable discharge, but they got no pay, no compensation, no help at all. They were literally homeless on the streets. So
that's what they do.
There's now even a backlog of literally like lawsuits against the military because of that. Like I would love you to emphasize on her question, because this is important.
Yeah. So like when I first got out, I kind of had the same luck. It was just making phone calls, not hearing nothing back, sending off letters, not hearing nothing back. It was always been on a long wait list, like when you need help. And I got with these guys called the Department of Affairs for Veterans, and it was, excuse me, I said the wrong thing, but it was a department of something, and it was these guys that specifically help veterans like with the paperwork. They know like exclusive phone numbers. So I guess like they have like certain phone numbers that only certain people can reach. So like they know all like the secret phone numbers, because if you just like Google it or just do like the general ones, you'll be on a waiting time for like hours or whatever. And it's getting help with seeing somebody or getting the right medications and stuff like that. It takes a long time, and it's a very strenuous process, and it's something that does need to be looked at further. I had, like I said, I had a good support system. My father was in the military, so when I got out, he never even applied for any type of veterans benefits. until I had got out. So like I said, me and him kind of did it at the same time. So it was kind of, I still had
Thank
like that
God.
buddy system, outside when it came to something like that. So that helped me out a lot. So just finding somebody that you was able to, ask the bounce questions off of if I'm confused about something, or if I know a faster way to get this information or stuff like that, then I'll be able to, use that like, but if you're just going at it alone and just trying to like knock that giant down, it's very difficult when it doesn't need to be.
And that's so sad because most people are going at it alone. A lot of people don't have the same support system when they return from home. And after you experience so much trauma in war, and I can only imagine physically you were already going through a lot. You had the eye patch, you had, the different, big keloids and stuff like swelling in your body, and having to navigate that and the mental health.
I want to transition into sort of like the PTSD aspect, because I know that is something that you had or maybe still have to deal with. You popped up at my house in California, and it scared me. It scared the shit out of me. Can you talk to us a little bit about your experience with PTSD and some things that may have helped you?
Yeah. Well, I'll admit it was very tough in the beginning, getting out of everything. When I first got out, I drove from El Paso to Maryland, and I was just like, now what? And I just kind of like try to keep myself super busy with just different activities. And I guess I kind of just put it on the back burner for like a long time, or like for a couple of years after I got out, until it finally caught up to me, and just had to, I guess, you bury things for so long, they just eventually come up. And so that's kind of how I dealt with things. I went to school a lot, did every type of like, try to find trade school and just do different things to keep myself busy. And then, so I guess it was just like I had like a moment in my life where I was just at that boiling point with the PTSD. I was having episodes real bad. I couldn't watch war movies. I have like, I would like isolate myself a lot. My communication was horrible. I just didn't know how to express myself. I, down with drugs and alcohol and the wrong friends who just wanted to party all the time. And you know what I mean? So it was just like, I was just using that to cover what I didn't want to face. And then I had gotten to a point in my life where I was just like, man, like I'm really going downhill. And I could see, I've always been like I try to think 3 steps ahead, like what I'm doing currently. So like, it was always like, I could see myself going downhill, and I could see these habits starting to destroy like the things that I'm trying to build. Was I had my son living with me at the time, and I was taking him back and forth to school, and I was like, damn, I really gotta, get myself together. So, I took some time. I was like, I needed some time to myself. Like I need to just get it into a different surrounding, get into like a different atmosphere to really like gather myself back, because I was just all over the place, like in a constant state of just, frenzy, and, had outbursts, anger. Like I was seeing like anger management person, that it wasn't really resonating with me at the time. I just wasn't ready to accept the message. I think like I wasn't open enough to, because I was just so closed off and angry at like, how the PTSD was affecting me. And so I just was like, I got to get out of here. And so I kind of like booked the ticket, like didn't really tell anybody where I was going. It was just like this little self journey that I needed, you know what I mean, to get out of there. And I booked the ticket and just, flew out. And then I was in California, and I had some other friends and stuff like that. I was down there, but I was like, man, like Jesse said he's down there. He's like, man, whenever you're down there, just, hit me up. I went down there, got like a little hotel room, and it was like, yeah, like, and I didn't know like California is so big. So it was like 2 hours to where I was at. I think I was in some beach. And so I just pulled up on him, and, he showed me a great time, and, we went around and just got some food and just kind of hung out, and like just being around him like really like refreshed me, and like really like made me feel like, you know what I mean, it was something like a new breath of fresh air, that he was always so inspiring to me. So like just seeing him, being around his environment, and just him talking to me, we got like a lot of person I was telling about my PTSD, and like, and you know what I'm saying, the things I was going through as best I could at the time. Like I said,
there was something that you said to me there, Do you remember what you said to me? You said if I didn't come here, then do you remember what you said? Do you want to share?
If I didn't come there, I was going to kill myself. It was that bad.
And so I am so grateful that. Fuck.
It's okay.
I'm not gonna cry.
No worries.
I'm really grateful that you came, and I'm really grateful that you felt that you could come, and just I from the Andrew that I knew growing up, Andrew was always like kind of like you. He's like a bright, very optimistic, super family guy, very charming. Everybody in the family loved him except for Grandma Hazel. I was her favorite. Just want to put that out there. But everybody loved Andrew, and so like the Andrew that showed up on my doorstep was not an Andrew that I really recognized. And then when he told me that, it broke my heart. And the thing that really scared me the most was the whole time that you were sitting downstairs in my living room, you just kept looking out the window like you thought something was going to happen. And I was like, oh, wow, bro, it's really struggling. Really.
Yeah.
So I am so proud of you.
Yeah.
And how far you've come. I'm so grateful that you served this country, went to war to protect us. You said that I inspire you. You inspire me because I could never do what you did. I don't know if I would have handled it. So I could not. I'm just, man, I'm so grateful. Like I don't know what else to really say. Like I'm really grateful and I'm really proud of you. And you're a great father. You're in your children's lives, and man, I'm proud of you. I just want to let you know that
we are all so proud of you. And I want to just say something for any guest that's listening today and that needs to hear this, that it's okay if you need to disconnect from your current space in order to heal yourself. And your child deserves that. Your family deserves that. And most importantly, you deserve that. So if you don't have a reliance of a Jesse in your life, maybe you have an opportunity to go to some type of mental camp or retreat or some place to get yourself together. And even if you can't show up for your kids at that moment of their childhood and you're going through PTSD or you've been a war, you had some traumatic experience, know that you have to take care of you and make sure that your glass is full before you can continue to pour to others, because you don't want to spiral in front of your child and have it lash out and affect them further than if you had taken that moment to disconnect. As long as they go to a safe place, they're going to be fine. And you have to take care of you, Angelica.
Well, yeah, to piggyback off that, you had said earlier that, when you didn't want to have all that responsibility with your wife and your first child, and you were like, I have a kid, I got to get myself together. And sometimes I think, particularly parents, I'm not a parent, but this is what I've watched and learned from parents. It's so courageous and also beautiful when you will change your life for your child, where you're like, I'm going to go get better. I'm going to go help myself so then I can help you. Because sometimes, like Carrie said, if we don't fill up our own cup, we can't really pour out to anyone else.
Amen.
So similarly to, we talk about it all the time here, but if you don't put your mask on, like they say on the planes, got to put it on yourself first before you can put it on a child or an elderly person or anyone else. And so I just want to commend you again for totally choosing to take care of you, and also the awareness to know that in order to help your family, you need to help yourself.
Absolutely. I love that. And you sometimes, unfortunately, we'll do more damage if we try to stick in it while we're boiling and not realize that we lash out or we hurt the people that's closest to us.
Right.
Besides saying, you know what, I love you so much that I have to disconnect for a moment because I don't want to hurt you. And it would be a longer effect. But
and you came back.
You did.
You came back.
Look at you. Look
back
at
and
you.
Better.
Back and better.
Andrew.
So as we wrap up, Andrew, is there anything that you want to say to the audience? Is there something that you would say to your younger self? Any words of encouragement that you want to leave us with?
Yeah, I mean, it gets better. You know what I mean? Like I was struggling with that for a long time. I guess to tell myself like it does get better. You know what I mean? Like you can definitely make the change, and you know, out of whatever situation that you're in, if you want to, you know, I think that's the best thing, you know, for me to tell anybody that was, you know, maybe listening. You know what I mean? Out there, just it gets better. And you know, it takes time. Sometimes it doesn't. It goes fast. Sometimes it goes slow, but it does get better. So yeah.
Love it.
And can I just add in one more question right quick for any of our war veterans here or anybody that's currently in the military that may be going through something really tough? I think you left us some really great advice, but I know you told them it gets better, but was there like at your point where they thought about it, like if I don't come here, I'm gonna end it. I don't want to do it. What would you tell them? Is there something, because everybody told them it's going to get better, but
my advice to that person would be that there's people out there that love you. You know, there's someone that loves you, no matter if you think you think that, because that's how I felt. I felt like, you know, nobody cared because I was closed off, and you know what I mean. And at that moment, I felt like, you know, it didn't get better. So, I mean, for me, it's just like somebody loves you enough for want you to be here. You know what I mean? Like it's somebody loves you enough that wants you to be here. And if you go away, it affects more people than staying here and just dealing with your stuff. And I hope that message would reach them, because I mean, that's kind of what Jesse told me, and you know, it reached me. It's just like, we love you out here. You know what I mean? Like there's love. You inspire me. I inspire you. You know, you almost got yourself blown up. You didn't die there. You know what I mean? So he was just, you know, just reassuring me like love is important in this life, and you know, you need to feel love. And I would tell him like, you know, there's people that love you. That there's a reason that you're here. And like I said, I heard that, and that's what helped me, you know, realize that it's going to be okay. You know, because I have people that love me, and you know, there's always somebody out there that loves you. So that's what I would tell them.
Love that.
There is nothing more powerful than love.
Not a thing.
And if you feel like, if you're listening and you feel like, well, I don't have a child, I'm not in a relationship, I don't have anything to live for, I don't, whatever you might be thinking, or you feel like your relationships are in shambles and nobody loves you, we love you.
we do.
We love you here.
We love you.
We love you here at the Resilience Files.
We do.
We love you here.
And your purpose matters, your story matters,
That's
and
right.
what you're doing for this country, it matters. And you know what? If you need a hug, I will offer my hug to you.
We're sending a virtual hug.
Ready?
Virtual hug.
Receive our hugs. And a
I
kiss.
love it. All right, guys.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you.
Sure. Appreciate you guys. Thank you. Letting me share my story.
Absolutely.
All right, guys.
you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to the Resilience Files. I hope that you feel as inspired as we do. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, The Resilience Files, and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you want to share your story, contact us. Send us an email at resifiles @gmail.com. So that's resifiles@gmail.com, or contact us on our website at www.theresiliencefile.com. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, The Resilience Files, and subscribe to us wherever you listen to podcasts. Until next time, stay strong, stay hopeful, stay resilient.